Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing Public Disorder. This board features a micro traditional camber or a mellow traditional camber. So from contact point to contact point you have that standard arc of traditional camber, but it's just not as of aggressive an amount. So what this is going to feel like is a more broken in snowboard. It's still going to give you that load, pop, snap, and drive. It's just not going to take as much effort to load it up. This board is available in 149, 152, and 155. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was gray skies with high visibility. You had chopped chunder, a light dusting of wet snow on top of the corduroy, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. So this board has a predictable flex that feels like a board you've ridden 100 days. Overall, it comes in just below the middle of the road, so you do get softer tips, progressively stiffening up through the middle, with a noticeable amount of torsional flex, but not so much that when you twist it, you're just bending this board till it dies. And surprisingly, it's actually stable for what it is, at least in the park. I mean, would I go charge through a rutted out mogul field of death full speed? Probably not, because it would kill me. But for a park board in lumpy terrain, it was surprisingly stable. You do get chatter in the tips, and you will feel that underfoot. I mean, I'm not denying that you're going to feel just chatter, bumps, and ruts underfoot throughout the whole thing. I mean, it's a lively board. It's not a damp board, but it's actually fairly stable for what it is. With this board having that micro camber, it's really easy to load it up. In fact, you don't even notice that you're loading it up, and when you roll back on the tail, it rebounds and it snaps. It feels like a board you've popped with 100,000 times before. It's consistent. You know what you're going to get out of it. So go into that side hit that cat track gap, launch off that roller. Don't worry about it. When it comes to jumps, small to medium jumps are really its strong suit. If you want to go hit bigger ones, you probably could, but the softness of this board is going to take over, so when you sit down, it's probably going to twist and buck you. That's what I would worry about. It has enough snap to pop off the lip and go a little bit higher, a little bit further, but I've really found that if you're a little more laid back and just let this board launch you, you just have a better time on a jump. The nice thing about this board is the sweet spots in the tips. It just locks in when you really press into it. So when you're buttering, you can just pop a little, land on the nose, land on the tail. It's gonna lock, it's gonna hold, and you can get weird and do whatever you want. You can get sideways, you can just pop a 180, really hold it, have it flex, and then that micro camber takes over and gives you just a little bit of spring out of it. It's not so much that it's fighting you, but it's enough that you can pop back out, swivel around, do what you need to do. Now, jibbing is truthfully this board's strong suit. I mean, that makes the most sense if you look at Public as a brand. Those sweet spots really let you lock into a rail. You can just feel it as you're just pressing that it's holding. You got a nice deep press, you hit the end, you pop right back out. And when you go sideways, that micro camber doesn't fight you, it just caresses right around the feature. It's a twin park board with a softer flex. Obviously, it's not going to be the greatest carving board out there. Can it carve? Yes, to a point. You can even lay it over. What it's good for is short, tight, quick carves, setup carves, you know, and then when you really try to lay it over, it's not gonna buckle on you. It just has limitations. You just really can't just apex this board and lay huge trenches, but if you're doing park carves because some skier got in your way, you're gonna be able to rip right around them, no questions asked. Like I said, short, tight, quick turns, medium, mellow carves, that's really where it stands out. Who's this board for? The park-focused jib guy. So let's just address the fact that this was definitely too small for me at my weight and stats. It's what the rep had, it's what I was able to ride. Now with that said, it was still a great board. I actually enjoyed it thoroughly. It just reminded me of riding like older snowboards from the late 90s, early 2000s, just a mellow camber that pops. It works. It's a good board. It jibs well, it's fun for the park. I think it's got enough side cut that you can carve with it to a point when you need to. Overall, I was really pleasantly surprised with this deck. Comparable boards. The K2 World Peace, the Yes Jackpot, the Rome Artifact Pro. Binding recommendations, the Rome Katana, the K2 Lineup, the Union Strata. This has been my review of the Public Disorder. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications, that way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here, do you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.